So, hi all, I am Sandeep Nailwal. I am one of the co-founders at Matic Network. I would like to walk you through what exactly is Matic Network and why it is, talked about these days, especially in the gaming fraternity. So, I hope the button works fine. So the topic for my presentation is that how scaling solutions will make blockchain games ubiquitous. So essentially what has been happening is that there is a lot of hype around blockchain gaming and all, but till now there is no game which has really picked up apart from one odd game, which is CryptoKitties, we all know. So we'll go through that. So first of all, we all know that the blockchain transactions globally are increasing. That means, people are using blockchains for various kind of, purposes, be it payments or, any other kind of things. That is picking up. So we all know that, right? So, but then, gaming has been always touted as one of the biggest use cases of, blockchains. But till now, we have not seen, as I said, that many games on blockchain, and we only know one game which everybody knows in the gaming community is the CryptoKitties, which became so big that it halted the entire Ethereum blockchain. Right, so that's one of the use cases. Then there are very, very small use cases till now on that. So essentially, let's talk about a bit that what blockchain actually brings to the games, right? So one of the biggest thing is that asset ownership and exchange via NFTs. So that's the most talked about, right? So that essentially what you want to offer is that the users or the end game players, they have the actual ownership of those assets rather than them having them owning that asset within the game environment. So they have the ownership on the blockchain, which is we call it true ownership of the assets. So, and then second, this thing is the open marketplaces, like the possibility of open marketplaces. Now, whether that suits the business model of a particular game and all that, that's it's a business decision, but that opens up a possibility of global sort of marketplaces for these in-game assets, right? And then many of these in-game assets also become collectibles. So as a gamer, if you have the ownership of those assets, you have those bragging rights forever, even if the game stays or not, or doesn't stay. And then verifiable scarcity of game, like that means that you can actually verify the assets which are being said to be very scarce. Like you don't expect it to happen in the AAA rated game, but there can be even the smaller level games where the scarcity of the assets can be initially told to the gamers that this asset is scarce and all that, and they buy it at a higher price, and then later on it's not the case and all that. So for the users or the gamers, it's the possibility of verifying the scarcity of those items actually on blockchain. And then of course the micropayment experiences which blockchain enables with the scalability solutions, with these kind of solutions the gamers can actually end up buying items individually for few cents rather than having X amount of transaction, minimum X amount of transaction, because of the costs involved, fixed costs involved in the the current kind of fiat kind of payments. And trustless contract execution is also one thing which is making the betting industry, especially the betting games on blockchain, to be very famous. And I think these days the betting games are very famous on blockchain. So these are the primary reasons which gamers and game developers are adopting or should adopt blockchains. Then let's also we talk about the good things. We talked about the good things. The bad things is as the previous speaker was also very rightly mentioning that the poor user experience. That's one of the biggest problems in blockchain. The gamer doesn't care whether he has, at least at this point. I think that this revolution will be driven by the end users, where after a particular time when end users start realizing that the benefits of blockchain-based games, then they will start demanding that, okay, this game is a blockchain-based game. I want to I prefer those kind of games rather than having a game which is like centralized and all that. So, but then the user experience on these kind of games is really bad as of today. So that's one of the biggest reasons. Then the other two reasons that I've mentioned, like the slow transactions and high transaction fees, is the scalability issues, right? So currently, if you deploy a game on Ethereum, you have to pay around 10 to 50 cents. On good days, you have to pay 10 to 50 cents to execute a transaction, and then also it takes like 15 to 20 seconds to confirm. So that's not an experience that you as a game developer would want to build within your game, right? So that's why so projects are trying to solve this problem, the scalability problem. And Matic Network is one of those solutions who are trying to do that. And currently it's one of the top blockchain projects on which the gamers are deploying their dApps. So this is one slide which is like slightly more technical, but on a very nutshell way, like all the problems that you see that I mentioned, Matic Network solves those problems. We'll go into these problems in detail at the end. I don't want to make it unnecessarily technical, but the problems like slow transactions, which is so on Matic you have sub 1 second transactions. The costs of doing the transactions are like 0.1 cent to 0.01 cent. So within $1 you can do maybe 1,000 to 10,000 transactions on the Matic blockchain. So those are the kind of primary things. We'll come back to this one later on. So now in terms of games on Matic, so almost there are right now a large number of games who are building on Matic. Like the biggest one is like Decentraland, which is in blockchain gaming, most likely is the second topmost game, right? So Decentraland is building, they're bringing their entire marketplace on Matic side chains, and then Quarters is going to be SEC certified gaming currency in US, and they already have like multiple games which are on blockchain. Then Chain Breakers is going to be like a VR based game which is also coming on Matic. It is very highly publicized and anticipated games in the industry. Then there is a long tail of a large number of games like marble cards and whatnot, like the trading stars and all that. So those games are coming. And then you also have some gaming protocols. Like, for example, there is a protocol called Bet Protocol, so which is trying to provide an application protocol for all the kinds of betting games that you want to build on blockchain. So these kind of games are coming onto that. So these are like very small sneak peeks into the games. So this is Decentraland's virtual world, and this was Chain Breakers, and then you have marble cards and games like that. And in India also, so I want to give a shout out to the Abstract team. So they are doing a lot of good work in India. So they're connected to almost all the gaming studios in India, and they are bringing those games onto blockchain and providing them easy APIs to build their games on top of blockchain, or whatever use cases they want to have on blockchain. So these are like some games like that. So now would be a better time to go into what all Matic Network offers in terms of the technology. So it's a plasma-based solution. So as a gamer, the security of your assets doesn't rely on a side chain or a scaling solution, which many other scaling solutions may offer you, because the security of your assets is maintained by Ethereum main chain due to the Plasma framework. So essentially that is backed by this multi-billion-dollar blockchain, which is Ethereum. But to you, those costs are not there. And then we are also working on some hardcore technical solutions like synthetics, where you mint your NFTs on the side chain, which are very low cost, and then if your users want to exit it to a global blockchain, which is like Ethereum, they can withdraw it. But primarily, as I already said, that you have very small block times, and you have the transaction cost is also very low. So and it is very high throughput, like, it generally has 4,000 to 10,000 transactions and whatnot. And the biggest advantage over there is the low entry barrier to the developers. So, if most of the developers, like 95% of developers in blockchain space currently are Solidity developers or Ethereum developers, and it directly, Matic network actually provides direct, porting or direct usage of your Solidity code onto the, Matic sidechain. So it makes it very easy for the developers to adopt blockchain. So this is in a nutshell, about Matic network. And I hope you like the short presentation. And of course, like, if you have any questions, you can touch base with me right now or maybe after the discussion. Yeah. And also, like, many of you would be gaming developers over there, so we also have a developer support program where we provide small grants to the developers. Many games we have provided them multi-$1,000 grants to build games. So if you are building any particular game, please feel free to get in touch with me and we can take it forward from there. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Oh, feel free to give applause, it's all good. Does anyone, there's a question at the back, I'll just go get the mic. Also, go ahead. A mic's coming away.
Just wondering, what's the future plans of Matic in terms of the supporting the WebAssembly for the 2.0?
Yeah. Okay. So, we very closely support the Ethereum ecosystem, and Ethereum is expected to move towards eWASM. So the moment Ethereum moves to eWASM, we will also support all the, the WebAssembly language on our, platform.